Hey everyone, John here, and welcome to the Intermediate Money Making Guide. Today I'll be talking about the best ways to make money that I've researched, besides doing the dailies I mentioned in the previous video. Some of the farming ways I'm going to talk about require a decent amount of investment, but these are probably the best ways to make money. First, there's challenge modes, and I'll mostly be talking about solo CM, but I'll also be talking about group CMs a bit as well. Then there's hunting grounds. Then there's unique raids, which is Osseo, Wastrel, FFL, and Ignis. And finally, there's Coffer. First, we have challenge modes. Challenge modes solo are one of the best ways to make money for pure silver. I'm going to be assuming that you can do this in 10 to 12 minutes, but the lower you can get it, the better. I'm personally doing it at 8 to 9 minutes right now. If you're taking 30 minutes to go to stages 1 through 5, then this is not worth it at all. With full loot chance gear, each run from stages 1 through 5 will net me around 900k in silver, 500 knuckle powder, 33 Sierra powder, 0 to 1 rare enchant jewel, and this is all assuming 1 prime is dropped. So in 1 hour I can do 5 to 6 CMs. Because I can do it in 8 minutes, in 1 hour I'll do 6 runs. If you're at 10 to 12 minutes, you'll be doing around 5 runs an hour because of the time it takes to go to town. So with 6 runs an hour, that's 5.4 million silver an hour, 3,000 total knuckle powder, 200 Sierra powder, and around 1 to 3 rare enchant jewel. Being conservative of marketplace prices, you can sell knuckle for around 200 each. I know this is pretty low, but prices have hit an all-time low. You can sell Sierra for 10k each, and rare enchant jewels for 500k each. Adding that all up, you get around 1.6 mil for the Sierra powder, 480k for the knuckle powder, and 720k for the rare enchant jewels. This is after marketplace taxes. If you're running CMs over and over, you're going to need challenge mode 1 entry vouchers. These are only available from the TP or marketplace. Right now they're 400k, so if you're doing 6 runs, that's 6 reset portals. That's around 2.4 million. Besides challenge mode entry vouchers, there's also potions, sage ports, and opening portals themselves. I'm going to guesstimate around 400k for these costs. So if we add that all up, we get around 5.4 million an hour. If you want to add unique enchant jewels, which I did not add, that's another 2.2 million an hour. I didn't add that because it's a bit unreliable, but with that you can earn around 5 to 7 million an hour. This is pretty good, but overall these estimates are very conservative. If the marketplace prices are better or the challenge mode entry vouchers are cheaper, you can definitely make around 8 to 10 million counting the unique enchant jewels. Just want to make a note, for team CMs, it's good if you're doing stages 1 through 7 with a party of 3, and you're doing it in a reasonable amount of time, maybe 11 to 12 minutes for a party of 3. The money is a little bit less than a solo CM, but the benefits are that you have a chance to get blessed shards from the elites, and you get some shining cubes, and you use less CM reset scrolls. Overall though, solo CMs are much faster and easier to do, as you don't really need to wait for a party or anything. Next we have hunting grounds. I'll be talking about Iridian and Bobbis. While they're both about the same, Bobbis gives slightly more money. Using the silver per hour add-on, Bobbis gives me around 2.2 million silver an hour, while Iridian Shelter gives me around 1.8 million silver an hour. Hunting grounds, while less silver per hour than challenge mode, they provide blessed shards, which are around 180k silver at the time of the video, and albums, which are around 150k to 200k, depending on the color. In an hour, I get around 3 to 5 blessed shards and around 1 to 3 albums. If you convert that to silver, I get 576,000 for the shards, and I get around 240,000 for the albums. This is including marketplace taxes as well. In an hour, I'll fill up my inventory once, even with loot chance gear, so converting that powder into money, around 500 knuckle and 30 Sierra powder, that's another 400,000 as well. Adding that all up, you get around 3.4 million silver an hour. This is probably a lot worse than CMs, but compared to CMs, you don't need as much investment into your gear, to do hunting grounds. Just a note, Link or Thom, they can farm similar amounts of silver as an SR class that I'm playing, but they do get double drops and double silver. So if they see any white mobs or gold mobs, it's a lot more useful to play Link or Thaw, and they get double the bless shards and double the albums, so Link or Thaw is probably the best class in the game if you're just farming hunting grounds. From friends who have data, they farm around 2.2 million silver an hour as well, so pretty much the same silver as I do. And it requires even less investment than some of the other classes I'm playing to farm, so Link or Thaw is definitely a way to go for new players to farm money in Babus or Iridian. Next up, we have unique raids like Wastrel, Osseo, Ignis, and FFL. I won't go too much into detail about all the raids, and I'll be mostly focusing on FFL and Ignis, as I think those two are the best money makers. This is literally lottery farming though. When you finish one of these raids, you'll get a cube with a chance to get an accessory or a recipe for Ignis armor. If you hit it big, you can get something worth from 15 to 80 mil. If you don't hit it big, you'll just lose money. You can get powder or fragments from these raids, which are pretty much useless. I'll be referring to FFL for this video as I have some data on it from a top player, Va, who ran this for a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks. This is from 8 hours a day of farming. On a bad day, it's 40 million. On a good day, it can go up to 230 million. Doing some math, a bad day, 8 hours is 5 million silver an hour, while on a good day, it's 28,750,000 silver an hour. This was also during the raid event where raids were cheaper to get into as you needed less raid stones. But even without that event, you can see that you can get a lot of money from the raids, even more so than CMs or high grounds. Just a couple of points I do want to talk about though. Being able to do the raids very quickly, hopefully in a 12 to 15 minute time frame, requires a lot of gear and some practice and a good party. 2, you also do need a party for these, so setting up a party might take some time, and having a dedicated group, they might not want to do this for 8 hours a day. 3, this doesn't give you pure silver, it just gives you items. These items are obviously worth a lot, but it's not in pure silver. And 4, this is a lottery. I just want to make it clear that, for example, on one day I did FFL 27 times and I didn't get a single accessory. So 8 hours I actually lost money. So this can be a little bit frustrating and definitely a bit of lottery, but if you want to play with RNG, unique raids is probably one of the best ways to make money. Next up, we have Coffer. When I talk about Coffer for money making, I'm talking about doing the raid, saving up the necessary Coffer spirit fragments, and selling the gear. This method of farming obviously isn't for everyone, as you need to be doing it with multiple characters, and the dedicated group would be preferable to get low times. It's also not immediate returns, as you can only get the item to sell after a couple of weeks, as Velco is only twice a week. I made a chart that explains in detail the silver per hour for Velco. The first column is the type of gear you're getting. The second column is how many Coffer spirit fragments it takes to make it. The third column is the silver cost for reopening the cubes. Just to explain real quick, when you open the cube, you can reopen it for 8 million, then reopen it again for 3 million. This column is just how much it would cost if you reopened every cube you got. For example, the boots would take 12 spirit fragments. If you get 4 cubes and you reopen them all, you get 3 fragments each. So in 4 runs you can make the Velco boots, but it would cost you that much silver. In the fourth column, it's the average sales price for each piece of gear. I think this is currently an okay price list. It's hard to tell as this fluctuates and may go down in the future, but I think this is currently a good estimate for Velcos in the market. The fifth is the profit you're going to be making selling, assuming you fully reopen the cubes. Just simply the fourth column minus the third. This is all before tax, of course. The sixth column is the silver per hour, assuming you reopen your cubes. This is just the profit with reopen column divided by the time it took in hours to get that many Volkoffers fragments. Both this and the next assume 25-minute runs. You could definitely get lower times than 25 minutes, but that's around the average as some noob parties are definitely going over 25 minutes. Finally, the 7th column is the silver per hour, assuming you did not reopen and ran Velcoffer that many times as listed on the material cost column. So to get the boots, you would have to run Velco 12 times, which is 6 weeks. As you can see, even with reopening, you can make some decent money doing Velcoffers. You could also use these items to barter instead of selling to avoid the marketplace tax. Without reopening, some of the items can take up to 18 weeks, which is a very long time, but as you can see, without reopening, you definitely make more money. It's just more time spent or more weeks waiting to sell. This type of farming is definitely more geared towards end-to-end game players, as you want to do it on multiple characters and have a dedicated party to bang them out really quickly. If you can do it under 20 minutes, like 15-minute runs, that's going to be amazing, but you really need a dedicated party to do that. Also, with the changes coming in the future, Volcoffer gear might get a bit outdated, so this farming method isn't going to last forever, and it may be outdated, and the prices will probably drop on Velco gear, so I would be careful, as it does take a long time. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it pretty useful. Most of the information presented showed a pretty conservative value for the farming, so you can probably make a bit more than what I said on average. I just wanted to show you guys some of the worst case scenarios. This isn't all the farming methods, as there are probably some others I don't know, but I think I got most of the good ones down. If you have any suggestions or tips, let me and the people know down in the comments. If you like the content, please subscribe to show your support, and thanks for watching everyone.